This is episode 396 of GI Joburg. My name is Steve. I'm joined by this guy,
Paul,
and that guy.
And it's Rob. Rob's here. Yeah, hello.
wow.
And in 396, we turn our attention to the Dreadnok Swampfire,
Whoa!
the sweetest smelling swamp boat / helicopter you're ever likely to encounter.
And I can tell you why that is. According to 3djoes.com, thank you 3djoes for being the best resource ever for GI Joe related vehicles and figures. They interviewed Guy Cassidy, who was the designer, as well as the guy who kind of built the prototype version of this vehicle. And it turns out the color-changing plastic used for the color-changing parts on the Swampfire smells awful. So it smells really bad. Like they would put this toy out and they'd be like, "Ooh, they're throwing up." It's so bad.
Stinkor.
So they actually mixed vanilla extract. they mixed vanilla extract into the plastic when they were making it. So if you smell your Swampfire,
ice cream
that's why
sundae.
there's the kind of vanilla smell.
Somebody say Stinkor.
Hello, Stinkor.
No, get out of
Get
here.
back in the box.
My vanilla
Foul
essence will
smeller.
destroy you.
So
yeah.
it's Swampfire time. The other Dreadnok vehicle from 1986, perhaps the lesser celebrated one. And can you blame it? Because, if you hold company with the Dreadnok Thunder Machine, you better be a crowd pleaser. I think thoughts are generally divided on this thing, but I've certainly become a fan of late. It's one of the vehicles that I have very easy access to here in Australia, and has, as a result, seen a lot of action in play motion and just in general play on the rivers, on the banks, all over the shop here in Queensland. Yeah, in fact, very early on in my time here, I got not one, but two.
Wow.
One of them from Dr. Alan Grant,
What?
the other from Ryan Sweeney. The Dr. Grant wound up with you, sir, with you, Robbie, but not without a little bit of help.
I've got a doctor.
Gary V got in contact with me sometime into my exile, I should say, in Australia, and he asked me, like, is there anything we can send? I was like, well, you know what? My Swampfire is without a rotor hub. So he destroyed another Swampfire to get the rotor hub that now adorns your example, Rob.
Wow. He just
What a guy.
obliterated it. He was like, gotta take it apart.
Well, I
Wow.
believe it's a very
Thank
difficult
you,
pin
Gary.
to release. Try as you might, you're most likely going to destroy it, trying to get it out any other way. So I believe he cut away.
Sure.
That
To
is
get it.
crazy. Well, they certainly built, sturdy construction for rugged play.
That freaks me out because my Swampfire I've got the props, but they're not in the Swampfire itself. So I kind of have to fix that now.
Good luck, Paul.
Yeah, thanks. Hearing what you guys are saying now is freaking me out a little now. I didn't think it was going to be that intense, but here we are.
Freak out.
So for anyone unfamiliar with the Swampfire, it's a boat, right? It's a teal,
Yeah, it's a boat.
green boat with a black hull,
Beautiful boat.
single-seater. It's got one shipboard, 25mm cannon. So quite a bit
Electric
of
cannon.
bite. Yeah. And it converts into a helicopter.
What? Yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm showing it off in boat mode if you're watching. And Steven's showing it off in helicopter mode, although his pontoons are in the wrong position. But that's
I don't want to attempt forcing the pontoon arms up if they don't want to go up, because I'm led to believe that the color change plastic, thanks to its ripe old age, is quite brittle at this point.
so
So
I'm
I'm not going to force it into its upright position. And besides, as we'll get into when we get into its media coverage,
Cool.
these were depicted in flight with the pontoons down. So they didn't change the animation model when it was used. Oh, Rob, thank you very much. He's flipped his pontoons up, you brave soul.
I'm
And that
willing
is
to
the
risk
boat
it.
profile.
This
Risk it
thing
for the
survived
biscuit.
destruction.
So yes, in its media appearances, let's get straight into that and show off how it was presented in comic book print and in animation. Rob, do you want to bring up
Whoa.
issue 51 entitled Thunder
Oh my
Machine?
goodness.
Though it has equal parts features the Thunder Machine and the Swampfire. Swampfire kind of occupies the first half of the book, Thunder Machine the latter half. But a lot of the action is with this whirlybird. It's kind of used as an infiltration vehicle by Xandar and Zorana to try and free their brother, who's interred in the pit.
It's absolutely
they-
crazy.
Slap some GI Joe stickers on it, basically, and send it into the pit with
That one,
Zorana
oh.
dressed up as Lady J, and Xandar dressed up as, I think, Hawk.
No,
Kurt
he was
Hawk?
dressed up as a specialist. So he's just a
Just a random,
random
okay.
specialist who's there apparently to be the interrogator for Zartan.
What is
That's
very
it.
curious to me is they've got the Swampfire not only depicted on water and in the air in this issue, but it's depicted moving along land like a terrestrial vehicle, like a jeep.
Yeah. So
We
it makes
see
you wonder
picture-
where.
Well, the underside show off wheels. Like when you see it in later panels in flight, you do see little wheels on the pontoons. So presumably it can be at least pushed around on land. Like it's not just a boat hull; it's actually got landing gear.
Oh, that's great. It makes it easier.
But
for it
how
to
it's
move around.
propelled? Does it have a little electric motor to zip it along the ground? Man,
Yeah,
I don't know if
some
you can push
comic
it on that
shenanigans.
bottom, but can you push it on
Well-
that bottom panel?
Well, how does it even?
There we
Is it
go.
pushing it?
Wheels,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, we've got some wheels up in here. But how does it actually move on the water, though?
Ah.
I mean, that's also
There
another
is
question.
sculpted elements to the underside that make me feel like it's got
Some sort of jet engine,
propulsion.
watery engine propulsion stuff. Okay, yeah.
I mean, they do have
kinda see that.
these slats. So perhaps
Yes.
behind them is a
Kinda
propeller.
like, okay.
And then this bottom fin would be a rudder. So it does sort of have
yeah, that
some
makes
side to
sense.
side movement.
Hold on,
There's nice thought that went into this.
I think we missed a little bit of that because you guys have a very small screen because the comic panel's still up for our viewers.
That's fine. Comic panel is
Aye.
up, and we are talking about it.
We are talking about
Okay,
stuff.
cool. Because I'm like trying to think about where these propulsion things are that you're mentioning, and I'm like, I don't know if thing that on mine.
Well, make us big and make the comic book can go away. We've established that this thing is kind
Well,
of
then.
used as subterfuge, and then for their getaway, Xandar and Zorana
Yes.
deploy the rotor blades, and off they go, zip off. There is a very humorous panel. I think I'll bring it up.
Oh, there
Where,
it is. Sorry.
They they crash land because I think Shipwreck has got a line attached
Yeah,
to the
so Alpine fires a
Swampfire.
line up, it catches onto the Swampfire, and Shipwreck says something like, we gotta attach this to something that's immovable, or mostly immovable, like a tank.
The Swampfire careens into the swamp.
Sploosh.
Zorana is able to stay in her seat. Xandar flips out of his seat and through the whirring
Rotor
rotor blade somehow without mincing himself. Like he's flung through them. Basically like a gun spitting bullets through a propeller using the interrupted gear. Man,
Maybe
it's
it's
a
a
sight to
special
behold.
feature. Well, it's already a special feature because you just mentioned the second seat, and the toy itself does not actually have a second seat.
Yes.
But they added a second one in. They actually scaled it up a little bit, I think, if you kind of compare.
Stick around, buddy. Shall we talk about the cartoon appearances?
I'm going to stick around.
Yeah, he's
why
gonna stick
not?
around.
Well, it first appeared
So-
in Arise, Serpento Arise, I think.
Yes, but I'm going to skip forward some ways into season 2 and talk about its appearance in Let's Play Soldier, which is a Leatherneck feature episode set in Thailand, kind of like dealing with the orphans of like American servicemen from the Vietnam War, which is a very real world like touchstone for the cartoon series. Like in a sort of military fantasy where oftentimes we're dealing with made up countries, for there to be dealing with like Vietnam War fallout, it's a pretty unique episode in the Sanbo
That's quite a heavy
milieu.
topic.
But in that episode, we see the Dreadnoks all riding one Swampfire, right? Now, this Swampfire has got some mass shifting ability, because here we see Monkey Wrench at the controls, Buzzer, Torch, and Ripper behind him, and they're able to stand up on the kind of the deck of the Swampfire without like hitting the rotor blades.
Which,
But things get more
once
funky than
again,
that.
doesn't work.
We see it from various other angles, and it is effectively the size of a moray,
Oh my
but with
goodness.
a whirring propeller blade above your head.
It's
But
just
it gets better.
constantly whirring while they're on the water.
Hey man, they're ready to take off at a moment's notice. I guess maybe the engine was idling. It's kind of in its just a sort of warm-up run.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
it gets bigger. I'm going to say now it's the size of a whale, at least. You can see the arm that the pontoon is attached to, and that looks like a gangplank that these guys could then like walk down.
That's wild. This thing,
Massive.
it's like a transformer.
And
Yep.
Ripper
So
and
now,
Torch are also
effectively,
smaller.
if the Dreadnok is standing on
Yeah.
the deck of
Isn't that
the
weird?
Swampfire, he would have to boost another Dreadnok up on his shoulders.
Yeah, I
to
mean-
2 men's tall, like height, in order to touch the rotor blades.
Wow.
Vast. I think it actually even gets bigger as
What the heck? That's like Java Sandcrawler territory there.
Steven's freeze framed on a very badly.
On like a tween frame. Yo.
You were never supposed to, in the cold light of day, freeze these animation cells. That's why you get such funny, like, very androgynous Zorana images. Like, she's got extremely broad shoulders
Yeah,
and stuff
'cause
like
there's-
that.
it's just like that's where the character's meant to be. Splash a little color on it, and then your brain will fill in the gaps.
The animators have my full and undivided sympathies, I guess. They never expected in 2025 someone would dissect it this closely. Anyway, it's just a fun example of how in media the Dreadnok Swampfire can be taken to be a much larger, much more substantial piece of equipment, and saves you having to animate multiples of them by having them this kind of large vessel, large riverine craft / helicopter. But I think everyone can agree its most famous moment is in GI Joe the movie, where a whole flotilla of them,
Yes.
each with a Dreadnok on board, and this is correctly scaled,
Thank you.
is charged with the responsibility of sealing off Cobra La's water supply so that spores don't enter the ice cave and commit all of the Cobra personnel to a grisly mutated fate.
You want to wake up as a clam or something?
There you go. And
Yeah.
I'd argue that apart from Big Lob's training sequence with Tunnel Rat, this is his key action sequence. All the Joes commandeer a Swampfire, but Big Lob is the one who gets the featured moment because his gets hit and is going down. But he puts a grenade on it, so effectively turning it into a bomb, and sends it careening into the mutated sort of plant trees that hold all the other plant trees. Whatever. The giant trees that hold all the other Joes captive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely
The-
sequence, well animated. Blink and you miss it, but absolutely great feature for Big Lob and for the Swampfire as the sort of hero vehicle for that moment.
And I like that all the
Wow.
green parts on it are dark green because apparently, I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but apparently when it does color change, it kind of becomes a darker green. Is that
If
your
it color
experience?
changes at all.
Yeah.
Jess, I had a video clip that I have chosen not to upload to this stream because it is disappointingly inert. Like nothing happens. And this was in bright sunlight, no cloud, Australia, so probably a hole in the ozone layer directly above me. We all scurry away from the sun down under here. So yeah, I put it under the sunlight for 2 minutes. I kept one of the blades in the shade as a sort of control group.
yeah.
I then compared them. No color change had occurred on mine at all. So
I had
it
the same
is
thing
an
with
ability
mine.
that it loses over time, I believe.
Which is sad. I wanted to pick out something that we've been talking about the anomalies of its design in the animated series, and then it getting a bit of a real spotlight moment in the movie. And I gotta say, the Swampfire is such a Dreadnok vehicle. without being something that's like cobbled together, like the Thunder Machine is such a mutant, but the Swampfire is more kind of refined in a lot of ways, but it still screams Dreadnok, and that's a cool thing. And it's not something that should be like kind of scoffed at. I think the designers, created the right kind of identity for its look, and which is why I own one, incidentally, because I wanted a Dreadnok vehicle that wasn't like a recolored vamp or something. The only
I'm gonna press you on this one, Paul.
yeah.
What about it is Dreadnocky?
It's
You
just
already kind of undermined your point by saying, it's much more svelte than I'm paraphrasing you, putting words in your mouth, really, than the Thunder Machine. Like, this is, to my mind, the Y-wing before they take all the paneling off for ease of maintenance. There is no exposed engine or wiring or like technical greeblies. Everything's very clean, hoisted. It looks like it's actually manufactured in a factory as opposed to, the Dreadnok's modus operandi of like cobbling things together and calling it good.
But
the
it's
Thunder
got a-
Machine and the Dreadnok cycle look like Frankenstein vehicles.
yeah.
This looks
It looks more like designed, right? But what I find about it is just it's got this like sharpness to its design that makes it seem like a bad guy vehicle. So it's got that. It's got the connection to the swamp, because if you kind of think about what kind of vehicle it is, it's got a very swamp-like kind of character to it. It also feels like an extension of Zartans' Swampfired. It feels like it comes from the same kind of design thinking as that, and by extension, Zanzibar's sort of like
air skiff.
there we go, that's the word I was looking for, which is another Dreadnok vehicle I need to get in my life. So there's something about
has this sort of canard wings, right?
yeah.
They are wings, but in so doing, it makes this thing look like a precursor to the Hammerhead.
Yes.
You know how the Hammerhead has all these kind of Hammerhead motifs. The sort of the command sub has it, the main vehicle has it. Like, it's always seemed curious to me that the Swampfire chose to have this kind of profile for its nose. But yeah, Paul, I think the biggest problem I have with the Swampfire is how like smooth and unexposed the paneling is. Like, these engine shrouds are these perfect trapezoidal, like angular things. Like, if you look at the Thunder Machine, it's pockmarked, it's scarred, it's got battle damage kind of baked into the sculpt. So much so that I thought that I chipped a piece of my Thunder Machine when I dropped it while I was shooting a review for it. And no, actually, that's factory. That's standard on every every Thunder Machine. I was like, whew, I didn't fuck up.
Still, it's got this like bad guy vehicle vibe that, for my money, if you like make it blue, I don't feel like it sells that well as a Cobra vehicle. Or if you made it black and red, I don't think it would sell well as a Cobra vehicle. It would look like somebody else's vehicle colored in Cobra colors, which is also where I get to my point with this, is that there's just something very Dreadnok about it. I can't put it more clearer than that. Just that it's got a Dreadnok-ish to it without being,
Well, I suppose the concept itself of having a
Frankenstein.
helicopter and a boat together is kind of like a mishmash, and that's kind of like what they do is they smash things together and see if it works. And I think
I've got the answer, boys.
Yeah, what is it?
It's this wicked hockey stick designed to the blades. Like, if this was a conventional Cobra helicopter, it'd be like the Fang. It would have just standard rotor blades. But it's got this serrated leading edge, like off to this thing. It's angular, which is so weird, such a strange choice. But we're led to believe that this is actually an offensive
Yes,
function.
once again, according to 3D Joe's. and the interview, yeah, it's just meant to be like either to cut foliage or you could use it to cut enemies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's
But I
any
think
real world precedent for that. For a helicopter.
would you risk that as a helicopter pilot? Trying to
that's true
actually
too.
deliberately chop stuff?
Yeah, that's
the most sensitive part on your chopper you're going to use to.
that's
actually
exactly
make it.
why I had to pose the
And I think
question. I was like,
that's-
it's ridiculous.
That's why the Dreadnoks are so wild. That's a good detail to pick
Well,
out, Stephen. But I think it's also
we
the
shouldn't,
angularness of it.
I mean,
you
we
know?
shouldn't poo-poo it. It is a toy after all. Kids would no doubt play with helicopter blades like,
Yeah,
whirring
of course.
melee
course.
weapons. Hmm.
Also, for my money, this is also one of the most dangerous vehicles you can find yourself on. Not as a driver, but because they suggest that like other dreadnoughts should ride shotgun on this thing.
Yeah, so you can sit on the pontoons. They do. It comes with little foot picks there.
It's like these kind of choices are dubious for the passengers at best, but this one there's a specific danger to this because if you stand the figure up on those pontoons, I mean they're pretty close to getting their heads chopped off.
A haircut.
In fact, actually
Well, guys,
very
it's
close to
true of
getting
the
their heads
Fang.
cut off.
It's
Yeah, you better not stand up on this.
If you're being shot at and you get a skirk, right, and you stand up too quickly, that's it. You're done. You've done the bullet's
And
work.
also, depending on the position of these things, I mean, if it's in flight, as they said, you actually won't, because they obviously suggest that you push it in.
Yeah, you got to bug out.
You can't actually ride this thing when it's flying. Like,
Yeah.
it's good for like water, but not for flying, unless you just leave them out. Because I have seen a lot of people, and as we said in the media as well, they do leave it out. So it would kind of be
Or
like
leave
the
it down.
Dragonfly. Or I mean,
leave
leave
the
it down.
pontoons
Yeah,
load.
but still.
Have you tested yours on water, fellas?
I have not. I'm assuming it should do fairly well. It has these like pontoons on the side. I feel like it's
I
gonna
did.
float.
And I don't recall it floating.
Oh,
Like I feel like I would have remembered it had it floated. Okay, mind you, I did try it out in the bath because I was actually cleaning it. Because when I
that
got
is
mine, it was a
another
bit
one that
dirty.
bites the dust. So
But-
it's just the hydrofoil now that can.
It
float?
just does that thing where it kind of lists. Well, it doesn't really. I suppose is it list if the aft is
I
like
think if it goes
underwater?
side.
But it's very off kilter. It kind of like looks like a croc. It looks like a hippo. That's what it is. Like the little head sticking out.
And
of
for
the
my money, the best floating GI Joe vehicle is the Warthog.
Warthog all the
Always.
way.
Yeah,
Isn't that
no
insane?
doubt about it. I mean, it eventually will take on water, but the Cobra Piranha is a good one too.
Oh.
The Moray and Whale are terrible.
Mhm.
Just too
Irony.
cavernous and too porous. Too many places for water to go in on those ones.
Why is it the things that look like boats don't float? What is it?
I have definitely taken pictures of the Swampfire floating, so it has survived long enough to take the optimal shot. But
There you
yes,
go.
without the pontoons, she will probably roll into the water because she's a bit top heavy. But the hull, it being a single black plastic piece, as long as you're not getting too much water going in where the pontoon arms are, you do have a watertight hull.
Yeah,
as
it'll
long as it's not
last
sitting too low in the water.
Wow.
If one were to put polystyrene in the pontoons, I wonder if you would get. I wonder if you could turn it into a flotation assisting.
Well, anything to displace water from the pontoons will be helpful because they're not sealed. There's a little crack that runs along them, and yes, absolutely, water will get in there. And once they fill up with water, this thing will sit too low in the water and will ultimately just take on.
Yours has got such nice stickers, Steve. Sorry, I'm just remarking on Steve's
Yeah, look at
Swampfire.
Steve's
Rob's
rules
is very
stickers.
vanilla.
Yes, well,
It is
Rob's
actually.
it's uncustomized. This has the stickering. I always thought, like, apart from the cutlass,
Love
that the
cutlass.
stickers on the Swampfire are not particularly Dreadnocky. I feel like there is a lot of room you can, like, creatively make a Dreadnok Swampfire look more Dreadnok using stickering.
Yeah.
You know,
I
the
mean,
fact that it's got such a perfectly designed and vectored Cobra symbol, like that is absolutely the refinement of the Cobra symbol that you'd expect to find from a 1986 vehicle or later.
Yeah.
It looks like it almost should have a trademark beneath the sigil because it absolutely is just like the Coca-Cola swirl perfection.
And I see you got Xandar
captaining yours.
yes, that is an
yours.
interesting question, isn't it?
Who rides your Swampfire? Is it Monkey Wrench,
Yeah.
as the box art would have you believe, or is it another one of the Dreadnoks? For me, it's the Z family's kind of ride because a helicopter is a bit too sophisticated for the average Dreadnok,
Ooh.
in my mind. Like, they're not helicopter jockeys. This thing requires someone with a bit more technical prowess.
So you're keeping it in the family.
When I got mine, I always had the intention to put Zanzibar in it because I felt like because I didn't have this air skiff. So Zanzibar would use it
it makes sense because
of the cutlass.
Yeah,
And
the
also-
cutlass.
Yeah. But Zanzibar's got an air skiff, so he was like displaced from that vehicle. So
Oh.
for me, I also agree with Xandar. I feel like it's just very like signature for Xandar. Like I kind of like that Serana gets carted around in the thunder machine. That
Yes,
you know, Zartan's got the swamp spear.
So it's her and Thrasher in the Thunder Machine. It's Zanzibar in the skiff.
Skiff, and then Zartan's got a swamp spear. Or if you want to get the whole family together, you could put Xandar, Serana, and Zartan into the Dread
On the
cycle.
Swampfire. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, that's just kind of how I distribute them.
Okay.
Well,
I don't
I say
know
you
Monkey
can put them
Wrench,
all in,
so
but I
I
think
think you would
the
put them in here.
I think the cycle can only take 2 guys. Now that I think about it.
Ooh.
My bad.
Well, if this
Look,
thing
I mean,
came
you'd
with
have-
a sidecar, it would be able to fit 2.
And you'd have plenty of inspiration from GI Joe the movie to put any Dreadnok on a Swampfire.
Or even
They're
a
all
GI
really good.
Joe.
Even a GI Joe. Oh, Xandar's the first one to get it from a Joe. He gets punched in
Doesn't
the
even see it coming.
punched in the face by Chuckles, which is so powerful it then knocks Buzzer and Ripper off their
Whoa,
Swampfires.
he really was a monster.
Same. And that's how Xandar dies, clearly, because if you get hit that hard in the face, that the force
Flint
dissipates.
sneaks
Yeah,
up and
wow.
steals Torch's Swampfire, and Falcon knocks Thrasher off his.
Wait.
Fun.
Oh, okay. No. For a second there, I thought I was seeing double because Flint and Falcon look very similar in that shot.
Yeah, well, this is proof that they are not the same person because yes, they're occupying the same frame in GI Joe the movie.
Well,
One of the very few instances.
Flint's a ninja. He's also got ninja training.
and he's carrying a lot of rope.
Rope, but that's Falcon.
Yeah,
who
no,
refers to
he's
rope.
Oh, it's Falcon. Okay.
no, Falcon
both
is
look
ready
the
for
same.
anything. Flint is ready to ask
Are
Falcon
you
for
sure
some
the other
rope.
one isn't Flint?
Well, this is where things get confusing.
Because
The
Flint has the
animation
darker-
model of Falcon, his colors are predominantly brown with green sort of overlaid, whereas the figure is green on green. And Flint is always, having his brown shirt instead of the black shirt as the
Yes,
figure
and he
would
has
have.
the black
It's got
beret.
OD. So,
Yeah, so it's Flint. It's Falcon who has all the rope.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I said.
Oh,
yes.
sorry. Oh, and Falcon doesn't have gloves. It's another tell.
Ooh. Flint doesn't
Pow.
have gloves.
Here we go.
I mean,
That
Flint
is-
has gloves.
This is a fun shot that Steven had on just for 2 seconds.
It was
just with
beautiful.
the
You can
POV
see
with the
Swamp
swamp
Fire
fires flying in.
The Dreadnoks are flying too close to the
Like
creeper
apocalypse
vines or whatever.
now.
The
Minecraft
cardinal,
says.
the cardinal plants. The cardinal plants.
That's it.
The
We could do with a
garden.
rewatch of G.I. Joe the movie.
Oh,
Soon.
big time. I'm actually thinking
Yeah.
just that. I was having
Really?
just that thought now. I was like,
Dude.
I want to watch G.I. Joe the movie. I'm probably
Really?
going to watch it after
Yeah.
we finish recording this.
Ah, on your own.
Without us.
That's all.
Boys, let's take a flick to the blueprints and see what wisdom we can draw from sort of a more detailed look at the
Wisdom.
technical.
Blueprints.
technical side. I know that the sort of order of battle doesn't really have much to say. In fact, it doesn't mention the fact that this thing converts into a helicopter at all.
It doesn't
which
say
is
anything.
very amusing.
Covert assault airboat. That's useful.
All right, okay, then it says that. But like the write-up doesn't say like this thing turns into a helicopter. Like
That's because there
that
isn't
would be
a write-up.
kind of interesting information to have. Order
It
of
just
battle.
gives you the stats, and that's basically it. At least from what I can see.
Yeah. Just by the cold light of day. But yes, the gun, its one armament, is 25 millimeter, which is 5 mils bigger than the Thunder Machine. Okay, the Thunder Machine would obviously be able to provide a stronger rate, or a quicker rate of fire with 2 of them, but it also means it would burn through its ammo twice as fast. And I'm sure the cyclic rate of those Gatling guns is a lot faster than this single-barreled Thumper. That's what it's called.
Well,
another cool name.
The order of battle, it can't read properly because they said 20 millimeter. But they do say it has 1,300 rounds of ammunition.
That's heavy bullets. But look,
the cannon is called the Sinker.
Sinker, right? So, if you compare it to like attack helicopters, 25 millimeters puts it in the same range as like the longbow Apache. So this little fly speck of a craft has that same, large gun. In fact, I think the Apache's 20 mil. I can look it up now, but like that is an area weapon. It's kind of designed to rain down bullets over an area to just obliterate infantry, structures, light vehicles. So for just having a single armament, this thing's hell of a potent, considering its size. What is interesting though, it has side-to-side motion, which is cool, but you think to yourself, like, this is one operator, right?
Yeah.
A helicopter requires both hands and both feet coordination at all times. So to then add to that the headache of trying to aim the gun, like, do you take it to be a gun that is manually sort of swiveled around?
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
Or is it a gun that has some kind of
steering
servos?
I feel like the movement of the gun is more for when it's in boat mode. Like for kind of like strafing while you're on the water. While in the air, I feel like it's more it's kind of locked in position. So it's wherever he ends up pointing, and there's just one control on his joystick. Yeah, then that's kind of just how he controls shooting it. Or at least that simplified.
That would make some kind of sense. Yeah.
For him to fly.
Sunbow's got some interesting insight. I've just pushed in on Big Lob firing the gun. So there are additional controls. They've given the Swampfire this kind of control yoke that comes out of that central
like pillar.
What would you call it? A divider.
Crotch.
And so he's holding on to these, and I suppose there are like spade grip triggers where his thumbs are.
Jack.
Yes, there it is.
Confirmation.
So that sort of is beneath the gun, and that would, I guess, control
That's
the
wild.
For a second, I thought he had too many fingers. Sorry, carry on.
Paul, he does.
He does.
Well, they just miscolored the control stick. So,
that's right. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Right.
They colored the top part the same as his fingers. Oops.
Happens. Oopsie.
It really does.
In a pre-AI world. No, they got the number of fingers right. They just colored them wrong. So the colorist was responsible for like miscounting the
naughty colorist.
fingers.
We're gonna get you.
Very funny.
Ruining our cartoon.
Of course, everything shot lasers in the cartoon, so it doesn't matter what the millimeters are or how potent the gun was. Yeah, interesting.
What I like about the blueprints is that they've essentially given names to almost everything on this thing. Like they sometimes give names like to the gun, like as I said, this is called the Sinker. But then even like the engine, the air induction engine covers, it's called breathers. The hull is called Swamp Smooth. It has plank pilot command seat, so that it's literally called the plank position, I guess.
I'm
And-
blanking, guys. Don't disturb me.
And even the rotors, they're called razor blade rotors. And it has adjunct floor top-mounted personnel platforms, which is the space behind the engine and right next to where the tail rotor is. So you actually you're meant, or at least according to the blueprints, you should be able to fit characters in these backspaces here. Which is
Certainly,
what I guess
if they plussed up the size,
push-ups
like we saw in the cartoon, that would be usable deck space.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the toy, it's a bit dinky.
But I was looking at it earlier, and I was wondering why it had these kind of like little raised positions at the back. And I imagine if it was a bit bigger, you'd kind of like, I suppose, just push the character. I mean, obviously it doesn't work for toys, but you can kind of like put his foot on the little back thing there. And that would help him to kind of brace himself while the thing's in flight or on the water. Like, there's no way to attach the figure, but at least the blueprints are suggesting that this is a space that you could
So much that can go
put
wrong.
your figure. This thing definitely should be bigger. Like it 100% should rather have been, well, not a 2-seater, but it should have, allowed for.
I guess that's something that like came to mind now as well, because we've seen the comic book version is a 3-seater. We've seen the animation. Like, let's just take the animated version to be the one we've seen in the movie, which is sort of representative of the toy. So, where do you feel this craft should be? Do you think it should lean towards being a 3-seater, or do you think it should be the single-seater swamp kind of air bike boat thing that it is? Like, where do you guys? I mean, I know that this is what we have. We got. But
I know.
If we could choose, where would
I
you
would
lean
think
towards?
I would want it to be a little bit bigger, because I mean, as it is, yes, it's a helicopter boat, but it kind of doesn't stand out enough from what are they called, fangs? It's essentially Dreadnok fang, and it happens to be a boat. I mean, technically any fang you could say it's a boat, because of the way that this thing is sculpted in such a way that the boat elements are more to do with your imagination, or like sculpted features that aren't super duper there. Like, you could imagine this just being an aircraft. So I think, if it was maybe a little bit bigger, it would make it more versatile and more like of its own function, rather than being Dreadnok fan.
By a little bit bigger, you would say, like, just shy of a Moray's length?
Yeah, I would probably say that, yeah. So it's like, but you don't want it to be Moray size, because then it's essentially, then they've just attached wings to a Moray. But just a little bit bigger. Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
okay. I mean, deceptively, the Swampfire is almost the same length and sort of footprint as the Thunder Machine.
Whoa.
This thing is, for a 1-seater, it's pretty much the same length and footprint of a moccasin. So it's not tiny. It's not an absolute, like, it's not a vehicle backpack. Thing. So, like, if you were to upscale it, yeah, you would have to approach the size of a Moray for it to be a meaningful upscale. I'm gonna be contrarian, because that's just how I roll always in life.
So true. You always have to.
And just say that the Swampfire is perfect, given its function and given the kind of topography that you're dealing with. Shallow water, small bodies of water that you have to kind of link up by either traversing over, like, bog, bits of land, or hopping using the rotors. So, like, it is the perfect little thing that will be able to operate with ease in the Dreadnok's kind of, I don't know, their main environment. Because, yeah, it's not an open waters craft. It's not dealing with deep waters where it can kind of have the space to be a more substantial vessel. Like, it's got to be this tiny little thing. And maybe, yeah, just like in the cartoon movie, you've got to have multiples of them. Everyone's got to have their ride. Just like they would have bikes on road. When you're dealing with the swampy environment and you're kind of in the Dreadnok's secret lairs, you need to have Swampfires.
Yeah, that's my thinking too. I feel like the movie nailed it. I prefer the movie's approach over the comic book in a big way. And I do think the toy... Surprise. But no, but they did nail it, because that for me is like where it really shows of its functionality. I don't like it being this three-seated chariot of swamp death. Especially when it's only got one gun, which is actually one of my only real criticisms for this guy. It's got one gun. It's like
you've added missiles on the side.
Yeah, it would have been cool. Maybe depth charges or something like that at the back. I know that's a moray feature, but it would have been cool if we ever could deploy depth charges or, like other kinds of water mines or something.
Okay. Yeah, you guys. I mean, that's a good argument for why this thing it's good the size it is.
Yeah. So like,
Dreadnok's put a lot of thought into this thing before they built it, I guess.
I feel like it was also commissioned by the Dreadnoks. Like, so Cobra were like, okay, you're gonna operate, and as part of like Dreadnok payment, they were like, yeah, we want something that's signature, so that we can, do what we need to do.
So we look cool while we
can operate, or it's just weaponry, or it was a prototype. Sorry, now I'm going into speculation zone. Or it was something that Cobra developed for Cobra troopers, for their troops to, protect their terror drones or something in swampy areas or like sort of water areas.
Like Fang Mark III. They were like, we were going to use this as a Fang Mark III, but then we realized that we had kind of over-designed it.
Yeah, or maybe they just felt that like, oh, you know what, we've got the trouble bubble, maybe the trouble bubble or something won the pitch, and so they were like, well, give these to the Dreadnoks or something.
Well, the cartoon, the comic book would have you believe in issue 51 that Thrasher was not only building up the Thunder Machine in the sort of the gas station, but he was building the Swampfire as well.
Yeah.
He says something to the effect of like, oh yeah, I was just in here tinkering around with these vehicles, maximizing their destructive potential.
Yeah.
In other words, just slapping a gun on them. Oh, by the way, I was wrong. The longbow Apache has a 30mm cannon. So it's just...
You can blow up whole houses with that thing in Jungle Strike.
Steven makes mistakes sometimes, guys.
Well, you consider the Apache is the size of a bus, and this thing is the size of a boat, like a little dinghy. The fact that it's got 25mm or 20, and 1,300 rounds of ammunition. I don't know, man. I stand by it. I think this is a lovely example of like restraint, which is ironic because it's a Dreadnok vehicle. But like the fact that the Thunder Machine just has, this kind of solitary weapon, this kind of unitary purpose. It's all built around this freaking fantastic gun, and doesn't have like extra rockets strapped on to every available flat surface. The fact that the Swampfire also follows suit by not having mines, torpedoes, rockets, bombs, like it's clean. It's ridiculously clean considering its Dreadnok heritage, and I kind of appreciate it for that. It's very unfiddly. Look at a Havoc. It's got this lovely flat surface, but what does it do? It straps 4 missiles to it, negating its like armor if it had any armor.
GI Joes are a lot more violent than I really thought about it. Like they just love attaching missiles to everything.
Well,
I guess it makes sense now why they were the first team to have like a fire throwing guy.
It kind of happened in this 86-87 period.
Okay.
So look at the Persuader. Does it really need 6 yellow missiles on its side?
Well, we really need a Persuader. I'm kidding.
If ever you get one, Paul, we're going to have the episode that features the Persuader. And you, Rob. Because I'm going to make a case for that vehicle being more fun than pretty much every other GI Joe tank.
Dun, dun, dun. Crap, now we have to get ourselves Persuaders.
Crazy episode.
I feel like we're going to need to be nudged. Or kind of
assisted.
Maybe pushed into the direction of getting a Persuader. I feel like there's a better word for this.
I can summarize my argument right now. This is not the episode for it, but since we've tipped our hands. A Mobat is battery operated.
Yes,
no fun without batteries. Mauler is battery operated. No fun without batteries. Persuader has, I think, 10 free rolling wheels.
10 batteries?
And it's very inviting as results. If it's like, do I play with that one, or that one? It's like, yeah, give me that one.
Yeah, give me
Push that one along the carpet. It's so satisfying.
So it's the most fun you can have with a toy that doesn't have batteries. Got you.
And probably a sight cheaper than the other two. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, another thing the Swampfire has going, I think it looks good from most angles because of its angularness.
It
all
is
the
pretty.
parts, and it comes together nicely. Like these could have been round, you know, the engine.
glad they
covers,
weren't.
but it's got this cool, beautiful, like it's so sharp and angular. Like it just looks cool.
Swampfire is like ugly pretty.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, yeah, when you look at it and you break down all of its parts, yeah, it's really impressive. It's got some very good design cues and great angles and all that. But it's not the Ferrari of the line, you know what I mean? It's not like you look at it and go, oh my word, that's the coolest thing in the world ever. But it grows on you because it's got a lot of character in its design.
Yeah, I think so. It has a lot of character. And breaking down, I mean, obviously we've mentioned, and parts of this thing can be very brittle. Yes, it was made for rugged play, but the years haven't been necessarily kind to every single piece of this thing. Lots of fiddly little bits. I think Paul, I mean, we mentioned how kind of getting off the rotor assembly is very difficult to kind of reattach. Apparently, some of the time also the gun is missing. Like because the piece comes off easily, you might not even realize that it comes with a gun. But yeah, I think this is definitely a vehicle that almost any GI Joe collector should try and own.
Definitely the Dreadnok fans.
And it's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. I think Dreadnok fans for 100%. You guys should get yourself one of these if you don't have one.
Is there scope for this being in general usage in Cobra?
Whew. I don't know. Like as I said, I mean, I keep saying it's the Dreadnok Fang. Like, what do they need this for if they have fangs?
Yeah, but it is a good escort for something like a moccasin. Because the moccasin might not...
Or upgrade. Copperhead fans will probably want to put a Copperhead in one of these things.
Copperhead would look good in that. But the colors as well. Yeah. I like these as as assistant to something like a moccasin, because a moccasin's turning radius isn't as tight, I imagine. You know, these things can get overviewed, they can go up, and they can keep they have much better optics on what's going on in the battlefield. So they can definitely like warn the moccasin, oh, we got trouble ahead, or whatever, to adjust speed.
Watch out, little moccasin.
Yeah, there's a strategic element to having those as assistant craft to a moccasin. Mind you, moccasin
is a little sticker at the back that has
the little gauges.
dials.
Yeah.
Who's actually looking at that?
One of the people on the skiffs there, on the edge.
Yeah, it's probably the one sticker I don't like on the whole thing, because I feel like it breaks the lines a lot. It feels pretty conceived.
Without it though, you lose that cool like black inset. Like it's got a panel. I like that. I mean, I think it's my favorite sticker, even though I can't think of a reason for it, because it's just like it's cool that there's a black panel on the otherwise kind of green body of the craft, which I always, as I argued before, it's too clean, it's too well shrouded for a Dreadnok vehicle. It should be exposed. It should have engine detail. It should have pipes and wires and cables and, I don't know, inexplicable technical greebly back there. Instead, you've got this very clean sticker.
Yeah. Sorry, as Steve's talking, just hold yours, because yours doesn't have the sticker. So actually, this is perfect. Turn yours around, Rob. Like swap it sides so that. Okay.
It's pointing away.
So this is what I wanted to say. This is why I don't like the sticker. I don't like that it squares off the shape of the tail. So you got this cool arrow shape that comes with the black tail, and it contrasts nicely with the green. And then here it turns it into, with the sticker on, it creates a full shape that's got like a flat front, and I don't like that abrupt end. It kills the
They're not
angles.
meant to be perceived in 2 dimensions. You're meant to be.
No, that's true, but it is.
Of it.
But it is something that does bug me on mine as well.
Good point, Paul.
Sorry.
Completely lost to anyone listening to this, but yeah, go ahead and check out the YouTube version where we
have a look.
just holding our toys for the camera.
Yeah, sorry guys. I did try to be as descriptive as possible for others.
No, it's all good, my
Yeah.
man. And
No, I think you
lovely
can visualize
little
the
additional
brain.
feature that Rob pointed to right now. The fact that
Yeah.
like it continues the lovely tradition of the stabilizer sort of rotor blade, the sort of the back props,
Yeah.
having a spin feature, a little
It's just
thumb wheel.
fun. You can just spin it.
They didn't have to include that little protrusion, but they did.
Yeah.
So
could
thank
just
you,
mold
Cassidy.
it. Thank you.
Our
Thanks,
main guy.
My main
Thanks,
guy.
guy.
So
Yep.
as we're getting to the closing minutes of this vehicle, I like to throw this in where I can because I feel like the Swampfire is a good candidate for this.
Yeah.
So we've discussed which is the preferred size. Yes, we think it should be a motorcycle jet ski kind of mentality behind this thing. You know, like I say jet ski, but I don't mean quite that small. I mean, it needs to be a small, nimble craft. Okay, so we're done with that. And Steve loves the gauge sticker, and we have kind of touched on this earlier in the episode, but one of the things that I would like to improve on the Swampfire, and it's not even like a major technical thing, I would love to adorn this thing with more Dreadnok kind of feeling stickers, and I feel like that's what's missing. So I also want to ask you guys, what do you guys feel is missing from the Swampfire that would make it better? Steve, I know that you're going to lean towards you like the less is more approach on this, which is totally cool. But if there was anything, guys, that you think could make this a better toy or a better vehicle, what would it be?
So what stickers do I feel are missing from my Swampfire?
For you, it's like all of them.
I think the cutlass is cool. I'd love to have that on you. Just a little something to kind of make it, fun. But I feel like you could have come up with a more unique design for it that kind of feeds into the name of it, I guess. It's not terribly unique as like a symbol that's meant to stand in for the Swampfire. And I feel like you could have added more stickers to kind of make it more messy. Because just the design itself is very clean, but maybe you could have added stickers so that you could have more discolored panels.
Oh, yeah?
I think that would have made it look a lot
How
more.
very eco-warriors of you, Robbie, to have like stickers that are like splooge, like
like
goo.
or splooge, or like that just makes one panel look a little bit darker, or like add little lines onto something. Because I mean, I do like the stickers you have on your engine cowl cover things. I think those are neat. Just adds
Is
a
it
little
a
bit
cutlass
of
or is
detail
it a
there.
machete?
Ooh.
Machete would fall in line with this thing's rotor blades being like able to chop down foliage.
Chop people.
Technically,
maybe
a
that
cutlass
is-
wouldn't have a wrist strap. That's
Okay, so maybe it's a machete.
And also, I don't have that sticker, but when I look at that, it looks like a Chinese sword, like a dao, which is essentially a
Maybe it's
machete.
a dowel.
And that does have a wrist strap to stop it from falling off your out of your hands.
Interesting.
So I think it is actually a
has its
machete.
roots in like Southeast Asia,
Asia.
jungle.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. That's another vibe about this thing. I would have loved it if we had like, like with the military stuff, you always have like Lieutenant, Flint or whatever the heck it is as the pilot name. I think it would have been cool if they'd given us a series of stickers that looked like the Dreadnoks had like graffitied their names onto these vehicles.
Oh, that would have been fun.
So like, Thrasher, Ripper, whatever it is. I think that would have been cool. And may have even encouraged some like kids to have bought multiples.
All right, it's time for criticism.
Uh-oh. What is Steven?
I don't like the blades. This mechanism is absolutely, it's totally budget toy territory.
It's
that it kind of
infuriating, isn't it?
does not satisfyingly fold away
Yeah.
and just kind of swings limply.
Like
And
a
then when it
pair of
is
dingleberries.
sort of folded towards the rear, it's going to be resting on this kind of sort of horizontal stabilizer.
Mm.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be kind of like drooping,
Yeah.
which
that's
puts
true. I had
pressure
the same
on this
problem.
very thin pin, which I'm led to believe is thermochromatic, or sorry, photochromatic or color changing plastic. So like that is just begging to be snapped.
Photochromic.
Photochromic. That's it. Thank you.
There you go.
And like it's so moldable, pliable that like this is courtesy of Dreadnok Ryan. This is his, I believe, maybe even his childhood one. So I absolutely adore it. This top sort of swash plate was bent, like twisted. So it was offset at an angle. I was able to, just with some hot water, twist it back into place, and it's held its position. So we're dealing with a very pliable, very soft plastic with this color changing stuff.
Yeah.
So I do not like the way it puts pressure on the rotor hub when
But it
it's
still
folded
smells
to the
so
back.
nice.
Well, that's also my criticism for it. Mine's rotor's broken off, and I hate that that's happened to it somewhere in its life, before it even got to me. So
Sorry, Paul.
it's okay.
Maybe the 3D printers of the world can whip up a Dreadnok Swampfire rotor blade mechanism that is more satisfying and a
Yes.
better mechanical solution.
Yeah, and also
the
depending on
transforming.
how well, so obviously it changes position, and so depending on how well these things still kind of bite, if they don't, you very quickly, if you're spinning this thing even once or twice, they will very quickly come undone.
Yep.
I've got press stick. I mean, I've always
Smart.
had just a little bit of tack just sandwiched in there to
But I
add
also
some...
imagine, like, when it first came out, it was probably a lot. I mean, this mechanism was a lot better. Kind of held much better. But obviously, over the years of spinning and spinning and spinning, it has kind of like loosened dramatically. So no shade on Guy. It's just time itself. I have a quick fire topic, guys.
What?
What would win in a fight? Swampfire or Swamp Masher?
Oh my word!
Who's winning? Who's it? Is it the guy that kind of churns up the muds of swamps with a giant? I mean, that gun on the back of that thing is absolutely huge. It certainly has more armaments, the Swamp Masher, compared to the Swampfire.
Well, Paul, I mean, I've got an answer, but I was always wanting to let you go first because I don't want to influence you, my man.
Yeah, it's all good times until the Swampfire actually gets altitude. Like even like a basic gun, as soon as something gets altitude, I'm sorry, it becomes dangerous. Even for something like the mud fighter. Yeah, I mean, not mud fighter, the mud buster. Swamp masher. Sorry.
Smash.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because I mean, once you go 3D, I mean, like there's a lot more kind of like aspects to kind of like account for in trying to hit your enemy. Yeah,
Wait a
I'd
minute.
probably go.
Okay, you'd probably go because I'm confused as to...
I'm gonna go with the Swampfire. Yeah, I think I agree with Paul's assessment. Yes, Swampfire is less well equipped. It doesn't even have missiles. Swamp Masher does, at least 2 of them, I believe. But like once you're able to evade more, I think an air vehicle wins.
So you're treating its ability to take to the air as an advantage.
Yes.
Now,
100%.
my problem with that is, I mean, when you're dealing with such absolutely thin-skinned, very vulnerable vehicles as these two, the advantage always will go to whoever spots the other one first.
Yeah.
So your key resource that will give you that advantage is being stealthy. The second this thing takes to the air, it's visible to anyone on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but like you're hearing it long before you're even seeing it. You're hearing, a helicopter's not a quiet thing. At least not most of them.
Well,
I don't
how
think this thing
quietly is
built
the
to be
Swamp
stealthy.
Masher mashing swamps? I mean,
I was going to say, that thing probably sounds like a tractor as it moves through swampy terrain. So I think the Swampfire's true advantage is in boat mode. Because it can slither through the water at low RPM very quietly. And if it hears the Swamp Masher, then it can close in and say the Swamp Masher is not accessible via water, then it can take to the air with the advantage of having an idea of where its target is. Whereas the Swamp Masher, you got to have your head on a swivel. And like the guy on the gun has a blind spot. Is he supposed to clamber over the railing and on top of the engine to swing that gun rearwards? the Swamp Masher is designed to face forwards, fire forwards. It's not got...
Not happening.
Assuming that massive Gatling gun is not automated. Assuming it has to be hand operated. Like the guy, he cannot spin 360. It's a very awkward gun to fire. So, I want to say Swampfire as well, but for different reasons.
Just to add to your point quickly, just of the sound thing, just because I just feel like it needs to be mentioned. Irrespective of how much sound they both produce, if you're sitting on the Swamp Masher and it's, on the Swamp Masher, and you're moving, it doesn't matter if the swamp...
Fire.
Thank you. Jeez. Too many swamp affixes. The Swampfire it's going to make a lot of noise, but if you're sitting there with this machine that's in your ears, like just...
Oh, so you're saying you still won't hear anything anymore?
You have a lesser chance of hearing a helo coming up on you, which is why I also like where Stephen's coming with the sneakiness of the Swampfire. But on the Swampfire, you wouldn't hear the Swamp Masher coming at you, because those rotors, you're hearing nothing, dude.
Yeah, no one's hearing anything.
Anything can sneak up on you, actually. So you would literally have to like bug out, go as far as you can, ascend, and then try to strafe a Swamp Masher as well. But anyway, I'm just adding some...
I mean, if the Swamp Masher called in the rest of the Constructicons, then we might have a...
So, despite the cannon on the Swamp Masher looking so formidable, like you look at that thing and you're like, this is crazy. It's actually only a 20mm main cannon compared to the 25mm of the Swampfire. But then again, I guess the Swamp Masher has multiple barrels, so its rate of fire is. And if it's got you in its sights.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all came to the conclusion Swampfire beats Swamp Masher.
And I don't know what a Swamp Masher is capable of like actually defeating, because the engine exposed like that. Yeah, it mashes swamp.
I'll mash you up.
The environment.
Big old gun on a vehicle that is like so cumbersome. It's baffling. But I know it's got its pundits, and I know who is screaming at their radio right now. A certain Kiwi who's come up in this conversation already. And yeah, he loves his Swamp Masher.
Well, it's a fun toy to play with, man. Like,
tell us in the comments who won, guys. Do you agree, Swampfire?
And give reasons.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Paint the scenario where the Swamp Masher would come out on top.
Because we can't imagine it, unfortunately. That's probably just a problem with our imaginations. And I think that's a us problem.
That's an us problem. But yeah, gents, I would say that we came out of this one loving the Swampfire, or at least really enjoying it. Am I correct?
I think
none of us had it as a kid, right?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I've never experienced this thing until you handed it to me, the doctor's copy.
I mean, I got mine from a guy called Toby. Local GI Joe collector. I bought some stuff off him.
I love that you get so much stuff locally, Paul. That still makes me... That always makes me so happy that even these days you're still able to find some nice things
stuff,
in Africa,
Well, then I think I can speak for all of us when I say that the Swampfire was something that we never would have gone out of our way to acquire.
Mm-hmm.
But having got them,
we're so happy to have them.
Instantly have an affinity for them. And that's the power of like a cool design and a fun toy.
Yeah.
Is that once you hand it to a person, they're like, I freaking love this. I don't know why I snubbed it all along. I guess I just was doubting Peter.
I know, because it's a Dreadnok vehicle. Why would I ever want it? I don't like the Dreadnoks.
And it's great that now we're getting this is going to time code the episode a little bit, but time code is going to... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Timestamp the episode a bit. Big Lob is coming out soon from Super 7 Reaction Plus, and it's great to have another vehicle and another character that has a moment with this vehicle. So, you've got another character, Big Lob, to put onto your Swampfire, and if you don't have Swampfire, but you really like Big Lob, now you have a reason to get Swampfire, to pair them up.
There you go.
Play out that,
I hope
that scene.
They tested the buck on the Swampfire. Because Big Lob is, we're led to believe, a little
Big
bit
Lob.
lankier, a little bit taller than the
Yeah.
average O-ring figure.
Mhm.
It would be a crime
Yeah.
if his
It'd
head
be
brushed the rotor blades.
Well, how
That'd
many
be-
guys? I'm pretty sure that there's at least one listener here, and one listener and viewer who has put his modern era copperhead on a Swampfire before.
Whoa, really?
And he's a little bit taller than the rest. Copperhead is a slightly taller
Okay,
modern
okay.
era figure. So I suspect if he can fit barely, it'll be okay for Big Lob. I think it'll be okay. But we're going to find out in a future
We
episode
are
of GI
gonna
Joburg.
back on that. Yeah, but for this episode, we told you about the Swampfire. Episode 396 of GI Joburg. We had fun. You had fun. Thank you for listening. Tell us how cool this thing is at arealamericanhero@gmail.com. That's our email address. Comment below. Say stuff. Just, yeah. Hi there.
And thanks to our cool Patreons.
Check
you
them
you guys
out.
are awesome to the for us, and to the YouTube membership guys.
Membership.
Thank you very much.
You guys rock so much.
And a reminder, we do have merch if you want to wear a GI Joburg t-shirt, although I suspect a lot of you guys have got them already. But if you don't,
all of you own them.
then there is a link in the comments below.
GI Joe inspired t-shirts. So cool. You keep our lights warm and our coffee on.
That's right. And our swamps on fire. Cool.
Yo, Joe.
Cue the outro. Boom. There's a high probability that when we